Hey, while Wendy's working on that, Ray, a
Uh-huh.
question that came through just in line with the books is from Tanda Emmanuel, who asks, are you allowed to use a separate copy of the guidelines that have been annotated?
So in the on-site exams, yes, you can. In the online exams, you can't bring in additional papers. So you would not be able to bring it in. It has to be contained within your book. Because those guidelines are printed in your book, I don't really feel that there's a need for you to bring in a separate copy of the ICD-10 guidelines. That's my personal preference. I would rather have everything in my book that I can reference. But yes, that is allowed. Now, I will say what you can and cannot bring in an exam as far as the resources that you have available to you does change geographically. So the most important thing for you to do to understand what you can bring into an exam is we have this information on our website, as well as the proctor instructions that proctors get, and the confirmations that are going out to members about their exam dates. So that is going to be your source of truth, because sometimes these things might change over time. I would refer you to those documents that are going to refer to your specific exam. Wendy,
Right.
anything else on that?
You can see me and hear me now, I'm
I can
assuming.
see you and hear you.
So a lot of the times what is happening also in those is that we're changing some new reference manuals that can be brought into some of our specialty exams. So again, you want to look online and see what kind of references are allowed. Ray, some of those references are, for the
CPCO and
CPCO.
CPPM.
Yeah.
There's been some additional manuals allowed.
Yes.
And if you want to,
go ahead, Ray.
If you want to see this list that we're referring to, when you go on our website under certification and you click the certification you're going to take, there is a tab that says approved manuals.
Right.
If you click on that, it will give you the list of what you can use during that exam.
Right. And in regards to the guidelines, it was more prevalent last year, I believe, because the guidelines were misprinted. Was that right? Or not printed, but this year's exams are printed in.
So yeah,
this year's guidelines are printed in the books.
Yeah, because of the time that guidelines are released and when books have to go to print, the previous year's guidelines were printed in the book. That has not been the issue. So the guidelines that pertain to your book are printed in your book. So that was an allowance that we've made historically that really isn't required with this year's code book.
Correct.